Hi friends, let's learn more about the list input because just to crack the interview and just to become the good programmer, you need to have the complete knowledge. So what we just discussed here in the previous session, we just discussed how to write the code to read the list input data. Okay, and what we are having over here, so this is the inline data. Okay, because it is just written in the code itself. Now what do I have here? I do have this CSV file, sorry, txt file which is just having the same data. Okay, and now how we can read the data from the txt file if we are not having the inline data. So for that, what we will have to do, we will have to copy this code. I'll just mainly go here. Actually, I'll just add these two comment, control and forward slash. Okay, and then if we do have raw data, then we do not use this syntax and we just take out the this as well out. So this will be our code. And then what we will have to do, we will have to copy the path of the file. So we will copy it this way. Okay. And then before the input statement, we just write the in file statement. Okay. And then we just give the path this way. Okay, and then we just close it. So this way we will be able to read. Now what we are just telling says, we are just telling says that we just want to create this data in this library and our raw data is here and these are the variables over there, and we will have to give the variables name in the same order as these are available in the raw data file. Okay, so if I just run this F3, so you can just see that our data is being read properly, and if you just go to the log, you will not see any error printed over here. Okay, so that's what I have just mainly explained you. Now let me first save this code, and I'll just save here, and I will just say list input uh, English. Okay, then let me just copy this here, and suppose what do we have here? Now let's talk about the separator. Okay, so that is the one thing which is just remaining about this. So suppose our data is not separated by the space. Okay, it is separated by suppose pipe, this pipe. Okay, so our delimiter is this pipe. Okay, so I will just save this, and so if we do have different kind of delimiter, then what we need to do? So by default, list input consider the space as a delimiter. So this is also the interview question. So if we do not have any standard delimiter, then what we need to do? So in that case as well, we will have to give the in file statement here. And then we just give the data lines, and then we give the DLM, and then in the DLM, we will give the pipe here and this way. So what now we are just telling to this as, because our data is just our raw data is just having the non standard format delimiter, which is a kind of pipe. So we are just telling says that we just want to create this data in this library, and our data is there in the data lines, which is this, and separator for that is this pipe, and then everything remains same, and we have just kept the variable names in the same order as these are there uh, in the raw data file. And you need to remember one more thing: when you just go to the interview, like interviewer may ask like why can't we give delimiter here in the input style. So this DLM DLM means like delimiter needs to be given here in the in file statement only. So if I will just read my data, so see, we are able to read it properly. And suppose, let me just take this out. Let me just show you some error. Suppose I am not giving this, and my delimiter is pipe. And if I just read this data, so see what we are getting. Because right now our data is just our data is just having like 8 characters, and we are not having space as default delimiter. So up to 8 character, it is just reading these, okay, and then these values are just getting missing. So this is just kind of like flow over being applied. I'll just be explaining you those later, like what thing is being happening, so that like we just see only these two values. And why don't we just see like this David, and we don't see this Christine? We are just getting this value and then this value, okay. But this is the wrong code, we don't write this way. So I'll just write the wrong code here, wrong code. Okay, so now we have just mainly learned everything about the list input. And one more thing, like in interview, if you just go to the interview, interviewer may ask you or give you this way, and he may just be replacing it here. So what does this mean? Our data is just having data in the like name and age format, and then in the input statement we have given the age first and name last or after the age. So this way list input will not read it. What list will input will just try to do, list input will just try to consider age as name, or it will just read name in the age, and it will read like this 23 in the name. Let me just take this out. Okay, now let me just show you. See here. So now it has just read name age in the name variable, and it is just getting assigned as A. So now it is just we can just say this is the alphanumeric value, whereas first time we just wrote the name age, and so it is just considering that value for age is this. So variable name should be assigned properly, otherwise it will misinterpret the value and read value in the same order. So it's not like if you have just written the age, it is intelligent and it will just consider that age is just written over here. So don't need to read this, I need to read this because it is code. If you will just give it garbage, it will just give you the garbage. If you will just give you the cream, it will just give you the cream. Okay, so we should just write our code properly. Okay, so now I'll just say that I'm just done with writing or explaining the list input. Now we will just learn more uh, input styles in the SAS in the next video onwards. Till the time, bye bye guys, and happy learning.